Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV. Starbucks. I would say to everyone, continue your boycotting. First of all, their coffee is too expensive anyway. Second of all, they just don't need our money. Okay, they've already proven that. It was a second incident that occurred where a white gentleman went in to use the bathroom before he ordered anything. They gave him the code. He went right in. And a young black man, he saw this and he asked for the code. They wouldn't give it to him. And so he actually got it on tape, had the white guy confirm what happened. And the manager, of course, they did what they do. They stick to what they want to do. They don't want to go against their own heart policy. I'm going to call it a heart policy. But anyway, stick to your boycotts, family, because they don't deserve your money. I've never had Starbucks before, so those of you who have, just keep your money. Apparently, they are going to shut down for the afternoon of May 29th, I believe, so that they can have a racial training day, bias training, or whatever training they call it. To me, there's no such thing. You can sit back and you can show someone a video clip, and you could even have a speaker come in and say a few things about being racially sensitive to other people and their needs and their desires and all of this other stuff. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot train racism and hatred out of a person's heart. I don't care how many videotapes you pop in, how many speeches you give. The person who came in there with that racial hatred is going to walk out the door with that racial hatred. To me, what that training really does is trying to teach you how to suppress it, because you can't get rid of it with training. I've said this before years ago, that you cannot train racism out of a person's heart. And so whenever I hear about this diversity training and racial sensitivity training and all of this other nonsense, I find it laughable that they think we're that stupid to where we think you can train racism out of a person's heart. That is utterly ridiculous. And anyone who falls for it, I can't even say that I would feel sorry for you if you encountered this same type of treatment. Because what it says to me when they do racial training after such a major incident or two major incidents, it says to me that they're trying to do damage control. Oh, we've got to make sure that we keep those black dollars flowing into our business. You can't get hatred out of the person's heart who actually treats or discriminates against a black person. You can't get the hatred out of their hearts, but you can get black dollars back into your business or back into your bank account by wooing them with words. And I would say to my people, don't fall for it. Don't let them woo you with words. Don't let them start to have a black spokesperson, because that's what they do. They always do that kind of stuff. Here's our spokesperson for black people, and we're going to put more of them in commercials because that's going to hurt our bottom line if a few million black people stop buying our coffee. You see, we fall for it every time. Why are we so simple-minded as a people? We need to stop it with this behavior. Please, family. Instead of spending that money at Starbucks, someone actually provided a list. I saw a list of, black-owned coffee shops. And I know that they are not in every state, and I know they're not nationwide chains. But another person made another great suggestion. If you don't know of any so-called black-owned coffee shops, go buy your own bag of coffee and whip it up yourself. Get some recipes on YouTube University on how they make it so very delicious. I mean, we found some recipes for hot chocolate that are just exquisite stand and aisle. They're just off the chain delicious. Hot chocolate, family. So I'm pretty sure you can find some recipes to make your coffee better. If you just got to have something that tastes like Starbucks. But by all means, please, don't allow simplicity to take over and go and spend your money at Starbucks. Because it's not just their coffee, it's also what their symbolism stands for. I mean, there's so many reasons why we don't need to go there. But this right here just boiled them up to the surface for me. And it should have done that for all of us. We already know that these companies have a history of doing these types of things. And get this. It's not necessarily that it's the company, because they don't like this type of bad press. This is why they're doing damage control now. It is the employees, you see. Now, I can imagine those at the top probably feel the same way, but they're not foolish enough to make it known. Like, was it Timberland and Tommy Hilfiger? Some of these companies, they make it known. Look, my clothes are not made for black people, you see. I believe it was one of these major designers of shoes or clothes that actually said that their things were not made for black people. Do you know how many of our people would hear that and still go buy it? That is a defeated mindset right there. I'd rather buy something off-brand made in China before I go buy something Tommy Hilfiger. Even though they probably have their stuff made in China too. But you know what I'm trying to say, right, family? I hope you know what I'm trying to say, because, again, we have got to shed simplicity and stop allowing these people to use us. And, of course, I know we got a long way to go as far as supporting one another, too, because we have a two-edged sword there as well. You have so-called black businesses with poor customer service, and then you have black customers who have poor customer attitudes. So it's like, oh boy. It's really weird. You have to laugh to keep from crying sometimes, family, when you look at the situations that we are faced with on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And we've got to work our way through it. But if you can help it, don't knowingly go to a place such as Starbucks, which is just a novelty item anyway. It's not something that you have to have. It's not like the food that you buy, where you may not have many choices. You may not be growing your own food or raising your own livestock, so you may not have a choice as far as grocery stores. But when it comes to something such as a novelty item like Starbucks, something that you don't need, keep your money in your pocket. They don't deserve it. Buy yourself a bag of gourmet coffee with some of the little flavor things that you want to spoof it up with if you just absolutely have to have it. I mean, that's the way I feel. Although I have my reservations about coffee. We like coffee here. I love the way it tastes. I love the way it smells. It don't always agree with me. At one time, we stopped drinking coffee, and then we started again. But then it's one of those things. But I read something, and I don't know for sure if this is the case, so I want to do some research. I'm not trying to scare anyone off of drinking coffee. I'm trying to keep you out of Starbucks, though. But I heard that it affects your pineal gland in a negative way. So I thought I would let that bit of information out there. Again, there's research to be done on that, because my husband loves coffee. I love the way it smells. I don't like the way it makes me feel sometimes. But for the most part, coffee is very delicious. It is. But you don't have to have it. Either way it goes, whether you buy it from the store or whether you get it from Starbucks, it's a novelty item that you don't have to have. But if you're going to drink coffee, stay out of Starbucks. Let the boycott continue, even though they are calling themselves having this very weird racial bias class where they're shutting down all of their stores for the afternoon of May 29th. Oh, wow. How noble of you. How noble of you, Starbucks. Give me a break. Like I said, it's going to take a lot more than shutting down some of your locations to train and remove racism and hatred out of the mind of your employees, because that's deep-seated. The Bible says that they would have a perpetual hatred. That is what we see. There's a perpetual hatred for our people. And this is why a white man can go in, ask for the code. They give him the code. He goes in, uses the bathroom, and is confronted by a black guy who's trying to do the same thing. No such, I don't believe in luck, but no such luck for him. For lack of a better word, that's what I chose. But he don't get the same treatment. And as always, there's always an excuse. Always an excuse. you see. But the bottom line is, if we keep on accepting the excuses, if we keep on accepting the ignorant apologies, oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean for that to happen. That is not our policy. We want all of our customers and patrons to feel welcome at our establishments. If we keep on buying that stuff, we might as well just stop protesting, stop complaining, stop doing all this stuff and just let them treat you like trash and get away with it. If you're going to keep on going to spend your dollars at these places, you might as well just shut up, lay down, roll over, and die. Because people will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Even the scripture says that if your ways be found right before the Most High, even your enemies will be at peace with you. So if we begin to start pleasing our Father, pleasing the Most High, even our enemies will be at peace with us. But obviously we're doing something wrong, because here we go again. Here we go again. Over and over, instances of violence and racial tension and hatred and all kinds of things. Always at the forefront here in America. Many of you are tired of hearing about it, but I'm going to keep speaking about it. And many others are going to continue to speak about it as long as it continues to happen, so that we can wake up our people, those who are asleep and don't understand what is happening. These things are happening for a reason. It is recorded. It is biblical prophecy coming to pass. It says those that hate us will rule over us. Simple as that. And that they wouldn't give any regard for the young or old, male or female. This is why someone like Tamir Rice can get shot in 2 seconds flat for having a toy gun, while they can have real guns, walk up and down the street with them in public, inside of businesses, and get a pat on the back. You catch my drift, family? You see the difference? So you got to understand and accept that there is something to all of this. There is something very strong and powerful to all of this. And as long as you think it's just, oh, maybe that was just an incident that happened over here, or an incident. So are you saying for the past 400 years we've been having these incidents? No, these incidences are not coincidences. This is biblical prophecy. This has been prophesied to happen to us because of who we are. We are the disobedient children of Israel. Okay, family, I'm out.